Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, I am back once again. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about WWE Super Showdown. I'm back, the man of the hour, Corey B. I am here, and this is episode 36 of the Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast, coming to you early. I am here, and we're about to break all of this down. I have some overriding thoughts. First, you can find me on YouTube at OMG Corey B and at OMG Corey B. Type it in the space bar and there I am. You can find me on Twitter at OMG Corey B and at 2SweetPod. This will be cast on Periscope. I'm on Periscope right now. It will be cast on YouTube, and it will also be on Castbox as well. You can find me on Castbox at 2 Sweet Wrestling Podcast, on Periscope as well at 2SweetPod. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what's going on with Periscope. I cannot see the comments, the people coming in. I don't know what's going on with Periscope. We'll see as it all turns out. How I can get that fixed, we'll see on Periscope. But getting right down to the action. Speaking of predictions, I'm in a prediction league, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'd like to thank the Josh and Stu podcast. They graciously invited me to the Wrestling Prediction League, and I'm about to show out going forward right now. The WWE Super Showdown predictions, I'm coming to win it all. Starting at the bottom, I'm going to the top. I'm not taking any prisoners. Second place is for losers. I'm starting at the bottom, I'm going straight to the top. I will be the champion. I will be the man. All of you compete for the championship right now. It's all well and good because I'm going to take it eventually. Hold it while I'll let you. Survive if I let you. Because I am coming for the top spot, baby. Now, we're about to get into the show. We're about to get into the predictions, ladies and gentlemen. And first up, start with no notes, baby. This is the podcast, predictions podcast, where I shoot from the hip, I come straight from the heart. No notes, baby. We're gonna start with Cedric Alexander versus Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship. This should be a fantastic match. They had a phenomenal match, and I can see the people coming in on Periscope right now. Good job. Yes, indeed. It couldn't be before it can now. They had a fantastic match before, and look, I expect nothing less at Super Showdown. It should be a fantastic match. Cedric Alexander recently retained over Drew Gulak, so I'm expecting another great match. We're in Buddy's hometown in Australia. And this is very interesting because this is probably the toughest match of the night to predict. This is the one I've most had the problems with, most I'm stressing about. I'm like, man, I really want to go with Buddy Murphy in this one, but I don't think they're going to do a title change at Super Showdown. And I'm going to ride with Cedric Alexander, continuing that very long reign. I don't think it's going to stop at Super Showdown. I don't think it's going to stop for Buddy Murphy. May stop for Mustafa Ali. We'll see going forward. But I think Cedric Alexander will retain here. This could very well be the match of the night. But I have my worries when it comes to the Cruiserweight title on the main show. Normally they get the shaft. So I'm very worried about that. So long as they get the time, it's going to be a phenomenal match. And I don't think that WWE is worried about the hometown guy losing as much in the Cruiserweight match as they are in the women's match. And speaking of the women's match, Asuka and Naomi versus the Iconics. And look, hometown heroes, the Iconics, they have been on a massive losing streak lately. I mean, when it comes to importance in storylines, they just do not feel important to me. And I mean, Asuka just has been running through the Iconics as of late. So Asuka and Naomi, the pairing just seems very random at best. They're making it work with what they've been given, but it seems very random. As for the match overall, I expect a fantastic match. The Iconics are fantastic workers. Naomi is coming along as a worker. I really enjoy her stuff. She's a fantastic character. She has a fantastic character. She's over greatly with the crowd. I don't think she's going to be very over with the Australian crowd. Look, they're going to be firmly behind the Iconics. And I think the Iconics, the hometown heroes, will pick up the victory here. And I expect the pop of the century going forward. The Iconics really need to win this match more than Asuka and Naomi need to. Naomi should be taking the pinfall here because Asuka, they're building her back up, or at least they're trying to, after they have just completely sabotaged poor Asuka. And I'm looking forward to this match, and the Iconics should pull it off. Next up, we have the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, The New Day versus The Bar. This has been quite the thrown together feud. And the New Day and The Bar, they always have fantastic matches. They had a fantastic match up before the New Day won the titles. And I expect nothing less here. The build has been very lackluster. It's like very simply put together, if you ask me. And what they did on the most recent episode of SmackDown was just so lazy. You mean to tell me that the valued SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the go-home build to the SmackDown Championships involved in Mr. Bootyworth getting getting dumped in batter? I mean, that just did not connect with me. It is what it is. I really think the focus should be on the titles. I want to point to another feud as well, to where I think the focus of the title has been lost. I'll get to that later. But as it pertains to this feud, I think the tag team titles have been put to the side as well. As for your winners, I'm going to go with the New Day retaining here. I really think that they will retain the titles. And look, I expect a fantastic matchup. The build, I have not been very interested in, but the match should be fabulous. And I expect the crowd to be very invested into this. I'm very much interested to see the crowd and to see how they react. Look, when it came to Saudi Arabia, when it came to, I think that was the greatest Royal Rumble, the crowd was hot for the beginning, especially, yes indeed, the New Day, as I look at Periscope right here. And the crowd was very invested into the greatest Royal Rumble. And like eventually it's just like the crowd just wore out. I hope that isn't the case going forward for Australia. We'll see how it goes down. So moving on, we're going to another tag match. John Cena and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Elias. This is another thrown together feud. And I find it quite interesting that, and I'm looking at Periscope right here. You're from Melbourne, Australia. Cool. And like, are you going to the show, by the way? Melbourne, Australia. I very much hope that if you're going to the show, I hope you enjoy it very much. So, look, John Cena and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Elias. I find it quite strange that John Cena is just thrown together in this. Like, the franchise, 15 years plus. And the only mention we've gotten on John Cena in the feud is on the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw, the go home show to Super Showdown. Like, we didn't even get a via satellite promo from John Cena. We couldn't at least get that. We couldn't at least get some type of mention from Bobby Lashley. Like, it just feels all thrown together. And seeing as I didn't do a Raw review or a SmackDown review, I did do a Raw review on Periscope. I didn't do a SmackDown review. The crowd from Seattle was just glorious. When Elias mentioned the Seattle Sonics, they just could not even get through the promo. It was just glorious. I enjoyed every bit of it. While I haven't enjoyed the build to the feud, that's been the case for a lot of these matches heading into the Super Showdown, I am very excited for the match itself. 4 splendid workers that should put on a fabulous match if given time. As for the winners, I think this is going to be a case in which they send the fans home. Not send the fans home happy, but we have a case in which the faces go over for the fans to get a happy result. John Cena is in this match, so he's going to win. Let's be honest here. I expect a good match. John Cena and Bobby Lashley win. Next up, we have Charlotte versus Badass Becky Lynch, the Queen Becky Lynch. What can I say? Becky Lynch has just been fabulous, and I've enjoyed every bit of her. They are booking this backwards, and I enjoyed the crowd, every bit of the crowd, for rejecting their booking. They're trying every single thing to make Becky Lynch the heel in this feud. They have her have her own poster. They have her run down Triple H and The Undertaker. The crowd just still cheers it. They show a video on the most recent episode of SmackDown of Becky beating down Charlotte. They cut back to the crowd. The crowd is just cheering it, loving it, chanting Becky, Becky, Becky. And the crowd is loving every bit of Becky Lynch. I'm loving every bit of Becky Lynch. I'm just falling completely in love with the direction of Becky Lynch, even though they're trying to book it backwards. And Becky Lynch and Charlotte had a fantastic match at Hell in a Cell. I enjoyed it very much, and I expect a fantastic match here as well. As for the result, Becky Lynch is going over. Look, for as much as they want to love Charlotte, they can't deny Becky Lynch. They cannot deny the love that the crowd has for Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch is no doubt going over here. Moving on, we have Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. The winner will be the number one contender for the WWE Championship. This should be a phenomenal match. I think they have really been rushing through this Daniel Bryan-Miz feud. I think they really should have cooled off from it after SummerSlam. I think we were rushing as for this match at Super Showdown. But the build has been very personal. It's really went from special to really good. When they first interacted with each other, when Daniel Bryan came back for SmackDown, you just felt that special sense of it. And the special sense of the feud. You really wanted to get after it. You really wanted to see it. And it's lost that aura of invincibility just a tad for me. But looking at the build, it's been very personal. I've still enjoyed it. I've still enjoyed The Miz mocking Daniel Bryan, getting one-upsmanship on him. He got one up on him as he costed him the match against Shelton Benjamin. That was a huge surprise. I never expected Shelton Benjamin to get the win over Daniel Bryan, but it is what it is. I'm happy for Shelton. I don't like Daniel Bryan taking the loss on the go-home show of SmackDown to the Super Showdown, but it is what it is. As for the result of this match, this one is tricky because this is a situation to where two things can't be true at one time. I have my pick for Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, and it's very much heavily weighed on this match. And as for the result of this match, look, Daniel Bryan has been behind on The Miz and wins in this feud. You think that, look, this is Daniel Bryan's time, he's due for one, but I think that Daniel Bryan's time will ultimately come at WrestleMania when it comes to beating The Miz. So in that case, I think we're going to run into a situation to where Daniel Bryan gets put in the position of having to cheat to win. They've been building up to this. The Miz says he won't go to the farthest of lengths to beat him. Daniel Bryan will choose to stay true to his character, and that will cost him the match. The Miz will defeat Daniel Bryan once again. He will be the number one contender, and he will hold it over Daniel Bryan's head until WrestleMania. So moving on, we have Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins versus the Riot Squad. Last I checked, Liv Morgan was questionable for this match, but on Twitter she said that she was just fine, so it's looking like Liv Morgan will be in the match after the concussion from Brie Bella. I've already given my thoughts on that. I won't get into that much, but we have Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins, and I gotta say that I'm not that much interested in this match. When we look at the build to this match, like, it feels like I've seen this match 10,000 times already, because every week it's been something with the Bella Twins or the Riot Squad, or Ronda Rousey against the Riot Squad. We had Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Riott on the most recent episode of Raw. That was a fantastic matchup. I loved it. But it's really like it's the same thing every week, so it's hard to get invested into the feud. The Bella Twins, it's not that I don't like the Bella Twins because they have their place in WWE. It's just that, man, it's like, do they have to be the center of everything when they come back and wrestle? It seems like they're the center of it all on Monday Night Raw. So we have the Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins. We have Ronda Rousey. She's the champ, and the crowd still loves her to death. And I just want to see her move forward. It just feels like we're in a holding pattern, if I can just be totally honest here. It just feels like we're in a holding pattern until Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella at Evolution, which sucks in my opinion. But looking at this match overall, as for your winners, Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins will most certainly win here over the Riot Squad. I expect Ronda Rousey to pick up the victory here, and we'll see what the build is for Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella going forward into Evolution. So, moving forward, we have the WWE Championship match. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, no disqualification. AJ Styles was talking about buried alive, burying Samoa Joe alive. I was like, well, shoot, just go with the buried alive match for goodness sakes. Why not? So, we have no disqualification match, and this is the feud that I was talking about that I feel like the title has been overlooked. Going into SmackDown Live, I said that at the Go Home show, I wanted it to be about the WWE title. And I just feel like it hasn't been about the WWE title in this feud. I feel like, excuse me as I get a breath here, I feel like the mind games has taken precedent over the WWE title. And I really don't like that. Look, I've enjoyed the build. I enjoy Samoa Joe. Hey, Wendy! I enjoy Samoa Joe very much. I enjoy AJ Styles and his heartfelt promos. But the WWE title has been put to the side here. It really feels like. And look, as for the match overall, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, sometimes you just look at two guys and I just say absolute banger. And that's what this is going to be. It's going to be an absolute banger, and they're going to give it time. I'm going to enjoy it very much. Look, I'm going to say that Samoa Joe needs to win the title. There are times in wrestling history to where you look at a match and you're like, a guy needs this for his momentum. Braun Strowman needed to win the title. He's very much lost his momentum. Asuka, as I said before, she lost momentum. They're trying to build her back up. She needed to win that title. She didn't win that title. Samoa Joe needs to win his title. But unfortunately, I've got bad news. In the words of Wade Barrett, Samoa Joe is not going to win here. I really think they've built this up to where AJ Styles is going to get his revenge on Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has been getting over him with the mind games. They really built that up. And despite Samoa Joe needing this win for everything in the world, I don't expect the title change here. I think AJ Styles is going to pull it out and retain and remain your WWE champion. And we're going to have AJ Styles versus The Miz in future matches going forward. So moving on, we have the trios match. The Shield versus the Dogs of War. As I catch another breath here. This is another match to where I felt like, man, can we get more build here? A different type of build to where it's just not Wrestler A versus Wrestler B every single week of the night. And I've enjoyed what they've done. Not from a match standpoint, but from a storyline standpoint of causing dissension amongst each other, amongst the Shield. The Shield causing dissension amongst Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre. Braun calling Dolph Ziggler a weak link, said he don't want him to be a weak link. I've enjoyed the mind games of Dean Ambrose, but when it comes to the mind games of Dean Ambrose, it would have been much better had he not fist bumped the Shield. I mean, look, they could have rode these mind games all the way into Super Showdown. They've tried to ride him into Super Showdown, but you gave it all away when Dean Ambrose fist bumped with the Shield, so he's not going to turn at Super Showdown. Looking forward at the match. I expect this to be bananas. I know they're going to give this match a ton of time. And looking at the result of the match, I really have the Shield winning here. I think this is the most obvious match of the night. And the Shield are going to win here. And I expect it to be a phenomenal match. As for Dean Ambrose, the heel turn tease will continue. I think they're going to keep teasing and teasing. Eventually, we're going to get a Dean Ambrose heel turn. But as I catch my breath here, but the motivation of Dean Ambrose's heel turn has really been stripped away as he stayed with the Shield. He fist bumped with the dudes. You can be mad at the dudes, but guess what? You fist bumped with him. Not a cat's out of the bag. You're going to stay with him. The Shield will retain here. So moving on to the final match of the night, we have Triple H versus The Undertaker. the last time ever. So, look, Shawn Michaels is going to be in Triple H's corner. Kane is going to be in Undertaker's corner. Look, I love all four of these guys. I love the segment from Monday Night Raw. It was well done. The crowd was juiced for it, amped for it. But all four of these guys are 50 years old plus. Like a combined age of 200 years old. They're sucking up the main event slot on the go-home show, the Super Showdown. And this is the most built-to match. They are making this the most important match of Super Showdown. And I just really think that going back to when those guys were in their prime, they would have hated it if old guys would have come back and been in the main event slot. So I don't like it. I'm not saying it's these guys' fault because it's WWE's fault. It's Vince McMahon's fault. He's the one booking the guys and wanting the guys to come back, shoving all the money in these guys' face. So of course they're going to come back and they're going to ask them, they're going to do it, they're going to put on a show for the fans. I just don't like them getting put precedence over the current roster guys. But looking at the match overall, The Undertaker is not going to lose here. I don't know what to expect from the match as far as quality-wise. I think they're going to put some bells and whistles around the match to work to each guy's weaknesses. So I expect it to be a decent match at best. I expect Shawn to get involved. I expect Kane to get involved to build towards their tag team match at Crown Jewel. So as for the quality of the match, I don't know. We'll see about that. But as for the result, The Undertaker, the Phenom, The Undertaker will get the win at Super Showdown. I don't know what's going to main event. I think it's either going to be Triple H and The Undertaker or the Dogs of War versus The Shield. We'll see how it all turns out. I hope it goes well and good. And I just hope it is a phenomenal match at Super Showdown. So that's it for my Super Showdown prediction. Let me know your predictions. Either it's on YouTube, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Periscope, or whether it be on Twitter at OMGCoreyB or at 2SweetPod. That is episode 36 of the 2 Sweet Wrestling Podcast. Let me know your predictions, your thoughts, everything. Let me know down below. And on that note, I will respond. And on that note, I am out.